Hi folks, that's on Android.com, where we get on Android every day. Anyway, today we're going to go ahead and do a full review of the brand new Nexus 6. This is the latest Nexus device from Google, made by Motorola. Let's go ahead and do this baby. Nexus 6 comes with a whopping 5.96-inch screen with resolution of 2560 by 1440 pixels, along with the latest Qualcomm Snapdragon 805 processor, 3 gigs of RAM, and 32 or 64 gigabytes of storage. The 32 gigabyte version retails for $649 and 64 gigabyte retails for $699. As far as the price goes, this is the most expensive Nexus device we have seen so far. So, is the new Nexus 6 worth the high price tag? Nexus 6 has nearly identical specs on paper in comparison to the Galaxy Note 4 minus S Pen, having the same Snapdragon 805 processor and large 1440p screen. Of course, the differences are in the details, so let's go take a closer look. First up, let's start with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 805 processor. The Nexus 6 comes equipped with the latest Android 5.0 Lollipop, which has roughly 10 to 20% faster performance over the Android 4.4.4 KitKat. Yes, on benchmarks, the Nexus 6 clearly kills everything else out on the market. Everything on the Nexus 6 runs faster than any other Android smartphone. If you're going to get a phone with performance that will last you the next 2 years, you cannot go wrong with the Nexus 6. Second, the Nexus 6 comes with a whopping 6-inch 1440p screen that's beautiful to look at and will allow you to enjoy all of the higher resolution videos, apps of the future. Honestly, there's not too many apps that currently support 1440p, but then again, technology moves so fast these days, I would not be surprised if 1440p will be standard for all apps in the next 6 to 12 months. The Nexus 6 screen does have a slightly warmer feel than most other phones I've tried. This becomes very apparent when using the camera. I honestly don't think the Nexus screen is the best out on the market right now, but then again, for most users, you will not notice the difference and won't affect your viewing experience unless you're nitty-gritty about every little detail on the display. Third, let's talk about the software. The Android 5.0 Lollipop experience is certainly one of the best out there. The Nexus 6 offers a seamless experience for both regular and flashaholic audience who likes to root and install custom ROMs. As far as stock Android 5.0 goes, it's a flawless experience that Google wanted to give its purists and people who like the simplicity of pure Google. Pure Google experience does not include many of the new features added by Android smartphone manufacturers like Samsung, LG, HTC, etc. But then again, you don't get all the crapware bloatware you won't use anyways. However, if you do like modding your phone, Nexus 6 is one of the better devices to add new software features easily by rooting and installing custom ROMs. Nexus devices have always been that, allowing the user to easily modify the software to their liking. You'll find Nexus devices have endless open source support even many years after Google stops updating the firmware. As an example, my old Galaxy Nexus can still run Android 5.0 Lollipop just fine, thanks to open source developers. The stock Lollipop 5.0 launcher actually is a bit of disappointment as you have huge app icons with a rather large 6-inch screen, but this is easily fixable by using third-party launcher like Nova to add your favorite 5x5, 6x6, or bigger grids. Fourth, let's go into the detail of the camera. The Nexus 6 features 13 megapixel back camera and 2 megapixel front camera. The back camera supports up to 4K video recording, while the front does up to 1080p. For video recording, Nexus 6 is pretty much on par with any of the latest smartphones I've tested like the Note 4, LG 3, etc, etc. Where the Nexus 6 falls a bit short is in its still camera abilities. In bright sunlight, every smartphone camera performs very well. This is true for all types of cameras. Where you can tell the difference in camera performance is in low light, and boy, Nexus 6 does not do well in low light. Phones like Note 4 or S5 make up its performance in low light with additional software features to post-process its photos. The LG G3 is my favorite smartphone camera of all time because the laser focus allows you to focus on objects even in near darkness. The Nexus 6 has none of this. Low light photos are in general very dark, unfocused, and hard to capture without using the flash. That's where its dual LED flash comes into play, but in my opinion, the dual LED flash doesn't do justice either. The photos taken with dual LED aren't too much better than photos taken on other smartphones with single LED flash. Overall, if you need a great low light camera, Nexus 6 isn't the way to go. But I'm being very critical here and nitty-gritty for those of you who are photosensitive. If you're not a power user on Yelp and using your phone to take excellent low-light photos of delicious food at a 5-star restaurant, you'll not have a problem with the Nexus 6. It's still better than most cameras of yesteryear. I'm just saying it's not the best. Fifth, let's talk about size of this phone. Nexus 6 certainly is not for those of you who like small phones. We're talking about a 6-inch smartphone. That's whoppingly large. First, you'll have to figure out if you can even fit this phone in your pocket, purse, man bag, or whatever. Personally, I'm 5'9". I wear normal to slightly baggy jeans. My daily driver is the Note 4 and the Note Edge, which are slightly smaller than the Nexus 6, but they still fit in my pockets just fine 24/7. The Nexus 6, I don't feel any difference in my pockets. It doesn't feel bigger by any means and fits just fine. If you use a Note device before, you'll do just fine with the Nexus 6. It will just look slightly bigger. The greatest thing about phablets like the Nexus 6 is the large screen. Typing on a large screen is so much easier than typing on a smaller smartphone. If you have trouble typing on smaller smartphones, you may definitely want to try typing on a bigger device like the Nexus 6. Hey, if it doesn't fit your pockets, you can always carry a bag for your phone, or a man bag. And this is one of the biggest reasons why even Apple has a big phone now, because people like typing on larger screens. Also, being able to get things done on your smartphone is probably the biggest reason why I carry bigger phones. I can actually browse full-site websites, type for long periods of time, and I don't really need a tablet. My phone does everything. Sixth, probably the coolest feature on the Nexus 6 is its stereo speakers, which are located on top and bottom of the phone. When viewing videos in landscape mode, you'll get a nice stereo sound just like the HTC One. The sound isn't as great as HTC One, but then again, this should be easily tweakable by installing third-party equalizer apps. Seventh, Nexus 6 comes with 3220 mAh battery, same as the one found on Note 4. As far as the battery goes, Nexus 6 won't disappoint you and will let you get a full day of battery life, perhaps a tad better than the Note 4 thanks to its highly optimized Lollipop OS. Lastly but not least, let me talk about what's missing with the Nexus 6. Although Nexus 6 may seem like the bigger brother of Moto X, it's actually missing Moto X's core feature of voice commands, especially while the screen is off. Although this may not be a big thing for you, I really expected it to be on it and it was disappointing to see without. But this is a software feature that could easily be added with root and custom ROMs. Next, Nexus 6 lacks an external microSD card. All previous Nexus devices supported OTG, meaning you could hook up a USB flash drive, a USB devices with root, but starting with Lollipop, OTG feature has been disabled and still not working as of this video. Now, this may be fixed in the foreseeable future, but at the moment there's absolutely no way to add external USB storage. I found the hardware at CES 2015 this year, where I was using my smartphones to upload my Canon DSLR footage by swapping out my micro SD cards or using OTG USB cables with my smartphones. I had 4 phones, my Note 4 S5, Note 3, and the Nexus 6. All my 3 other phones were able to do both the OTG and external micro SD. My Nexus 6 literally became a brick. The only way I could transfer files is transfer my micro SD to my Chromebook, and then I'll have to transfer it to the Nexus 6, so made it sort of useless. Nexus 6 also lacks an IR blaster for controlling your TV and other media devices, which most of the newer smartphones have these days. If Nexus 6 is priced at $649, this is definitely one feature I would expect to be on there. If you don't watch much TV, then you're okay. So the question is Nexus 6 worth $649 for a 32GB version and $699 for a 64GB version? Man, I hate to be the one to tell you, but I think it's a little bit overpriced for a Nexus device. With Nexus 4 or Nexus 5, one of the advantages of getting a Nexus device was its price, that it came with just the features you need at an unbelievably lower price than other phones on the market. If you don't know how to root and install custom ROMs, the Nexus 6 is a great device to get. But personally, I do like my Note 4. It's got the S Pen, more features, And also I got the Gear VR, which I can do virtual reality. Also I do like my Note Edge, which got the curved screen. Great for enjoying the latest curved screen. Also the LG G3, I really like it because of the still camera. The Nexus 6, I'll keep using it, but for right now, it's not my favorite device, especially for the price you pay. But that was just my review, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share this video with your friends online, and I will see you guys soon. As always, stay on Android.